Have you ever wondered if there's a secret to not just living longer, but living a happier, more fulfilling life? Well, today we're diving deep into a fascinating concept from Japan that might just hold the answer. It's called Ikigai. Our whole journey starts with this one kind of mind-blowing mystery. See, in the north of Okinawa, Japan, there's a place they literally call the Village of Longevity, a place where living past 100 isn't some rare event, it's almost normal. So, how is that even possible? What do they know that we don't? Well, we're about to find out. So here's our roadmap for cracking this code. We're going to explore the secrets of Okinawa, dig into the philosophy of meaning, unpack the psychology of what it feels like to be totally in the zone, get into some practical lifestyle habits, and finally, hear directly from the masters of longevity themselves. Now, before we jump in, if you find this journey as amazing as I do me a quick favor and hit that like button and subscribe. It is a huge help for our channel, lets us grow, and lets us bring you more explainers just like this one. All right, you ready? Let's get started. Okay, so our first stop is Okinawa, a beautiful Japanese island in the East China Sea. You might have heard of it. It's one of the world's 5 blue zones, which are these areas where people just live way, way longer than average. But what really makes the Okinawans special isn't just their diet or the sunny weather, it's this powerful cultural idea that shapes their entire way of life. And that idea is Ikigai. The word itself is just perfect. It's made of 2 parts, Iki, which means life, and Gai, meaning value or worth. So put it together, and it's your reason for being, your reason for living. And look, this isn't some grand, complicated, unattainable goal. It's way simpler. It's the thing that gets you excited to get out of bed each morning. For the centenarians of Okinawa, their Ikigai is the engine behind their incredible vitality. So how does an entire culture support this idea? Well, it's woven into everything they do. First up, they have a saying, Ichari but chode, which basically means treat everyone like a brother, even if you just met them. This creates this amazing sense of community. Then there's Hara Hachi Bu, an ancient rule to stop eating when you're about 80% full. It prevents that awful overstuffed feeling and the stress it puts on your body. And maybe my favorite, the Moai. This is your lifelong group of friends, a social support network that's there for you emotionally and even financially for your entire life. Just imagine having that kind of security. It's this whole web of community, diet, and gentle daily movement that builds the perfect foundation for a long, happy life. Okay, so the Okinawan example shows us just how powerful purpose can be in the real world. But this isn't just some unique cultural thing. It's actually backed by some really profound psychological principles. So that leads to the next question. How do we find that meaning, that why that drives us, especially when we feel a little bit lost? Well, let's talk about logotherapy. It was founded by a psychiatrist and Holocaust survivor named Viktor Frankl. His big idea was that the main drive for human beings isn't the search for pleasure, like Freud believed, but actually the search for meaning. And he had a powerful reason to believe this. After surviving the horrors of Auschwitz, Frankl noticed that the prisoners with the best chance of making it out alive were the ones who had a purpose, a reason to live, a project they had to finish, a loved one they had to see again. Logotherapy is all about helping people find that exact reason. And this chart really lays out the difference perfectly. Just look at the focus row. Psychoanalysis is all about looking backwards into your past. Logotherapy, it's all about looking forward to your future and your purpose. The driver is different too, pleasure versus meaning. But the real kicker is the goal. Logotherapy isn't trying to fix what's broken in your past, it's trying to help you find a reason to live for. Frankl would actually ask patients who were feeling suicidal, why don't you do it? And in their answers, because of my children, because of my work, they would find the very threads of meaning they could weave into a reason to keep going. Now, around the same time over in Japan, a guy named Shoma Morita developed a really different action-based therapy. His big idea was you can't control your emotions, but you can control your actions. So instead of trying to fight off your anxiety, you just accept it and you focus on what needs to be done. The therapy has 4 stages, as you can see. It starts with stage 1, total isolation and rest, where you just watch your emotions without judgment. Then you move into stage 2, light therapy, doing simple repetitive things. That builds up to stage 3, more demanding physical work, before you finally get to stage 4 and re-enter the world with a new sense of purpose you found not by thinking, but by doing. So here's the thing, we get it, right? Having a purpose is absolutely fundamental. But how do we connect that huge philosophical why with all the little everyday things we do? How do we turn our jobs, our hobbies, even our chores into something that feels meaningful?
The answer, my friends, is in this incredible psychological state known as flow. You can think of it as the bridge between your big purpose and your daily actions. It's the moment where you experience your Ikigai not as a distant idea, but as this feeling of complete immersion and even joy.
The psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi came up with the term flow for this. I'm sure you felt it. Think about a time you were so totally absorbed in something. Maybe you were playing guitar, or coding, or gardening, or even just having a great conversation, that you completely lost all track of time. Your worries just vanished, your ego kind of melted away, you weren't thinking about the past or worrying about the future, you were just there. That's flow. But, in our modern world, probably the biggest enemy of flow is the myth of multitasking. We all think we're being super efficient by juggling emails and texts and our actual work all at once. But the science is crystal clear, we're not. Our brains can't actually do things in parallel. They just switch back and forth really, really fast. And all that switching just drains our energy, causes more mistakes, and makes it pretty much impossible to get into that deep focus that flow requires. So, how do we find flow? Well, here are the 7 key conditions. You need to have clear goals and get immediate feedback. But look really closely at numbers 5 and 6. You need a significant challenge, and you need to feel like you have significant skills to meet it. This is the magic formula. It has to be this perfect balance between how hard the task is and how good you are at it. If it's too easy, you get bored. If it's too hard, you get anxious. Flow happens in that perfect sweet spot right between boredom and anxiety, where you're being stretched just a little bit. And this is the key to everything. Finding your Ikigai and living in a state of flow, it's not some magic lightning bolt that strikes you once. It's a habit. It's the result of intentionally setting up your days and your environment to create these moments of deep focus. It's about turning your daily actions into rituals that feel purposeful. Okay, let's bring all of this together now and talk about concrete daily habits. We've gone through the philosophical why and the psychological how. Now it's time to focus on the practical what. The real, evidence-based lifestyle changes that can actually help slow down the aging process. One of the absolute biggest roadblocks to a long, healthy life is chronic stress. Think about it. Our ancient ancestors felt stress in these short, intense bursts, like running away from a saber-toothed tiger. Their bodies would get flooded with cortisol, which was great for survival. But today, our brains see a looming work deadline or a buzzing phone as the same kind of threat. And that leads to this constant low-level drip, drip, drip of cortisol in our system. And that chronic stress is so damaging. It leads to fatigue, inflammation, and premature aging. So what can we actually do about it? The key is to adopt some simple anti-aging strategies. Keep your mind active, always be learning new things. Manage that chronic stress, maybe with mindfulness or meditation. Avoid sitting all day. Even just taking short walks or using the stairs makes a huge difference. You have to prioritize sleep. That's when your body makes melatonin, which is this powerful antioxidant that literally repairs your cells. And finally, you've got to cultivate a positive, resilient attitude. It is the one common thread you see in just about every super old person. We've looked at the science, the culture, and the philosophy. But now, for the best part. Let's hear directly from the true masters of living a long and happy life, the people who have actually done it. Masao Okawa lived to be 117 years old. She lived through 3 different centuries. And when they asked her for her secret, her answer wasn't some complicated formula. It was just simple and profound. Eat well, sleep well, and learn to relax. She understood that the foundation of a long life is built on these basic daily practices. Walter Bruning, who made it to 114, said something very similar. He really stressed the importance of staying active, both in your mind and your body. This guy worked on the railroad for 50 years and was still exercising every day after he turned 100. His wisdom just reinforces that core idea of Ikigai. Having a reason to stay engaged with the world is what keeps you going. And this might just be the most powerful advice of all. Jeanne Calment is the oldest verified person in history. She lived to the absolutely incredible age of 122. She was still riding her bicycle when she was 100. And through all the ups and downs of over a century of life, her entire outlook was summed up in those 3 little words. Everything is fine. It's just this incredible testament to a resilient, almost stoic spirit of acceptance. And finally, let's look at the great Japanese artist Hokusai. Now, he didn't live to be 120, but he perfectly embodied the spirit of a lifelong Ikigai. He saw his entire life as a journey toward mastering his craft. He wasn't working to retire, he was working toward a deeper and deeper understanding of his art and of the world. And that's the essence of Ikigai, a purpose so deep that it never really ends. It just evolves, getting richer and more alive with every single year that passes. So we've explored the village where people forget to die. We've uncovered the philosophies of meaning and the psychology of flow. We've heard from the people who have lived the longest lives in history. They've given us their secrets. But now, the journey turns inward. The only real question left is for you. What is the reason you get out of bed in the morning? What is your Ikigai?